So day 6 today. Yeah, pretty tired. Probably sort of slowly wobblier. Yeah, just sort of slower of mind, if I'm honest. Slower generally. Not hungry, oddly. I was hungry the first day, but not really since. An awful lot of today, of course, has been having well wishers coming up and saying hello and greeting and just, giving us warm messages. We've had quite a few MPs as well. Which again has been sort of great. I've probably seen more MPs today than I have in the past 3 years. So that's been lovely. But yeah, it's obviously, it's like being host to the party but getting more and more tired. You have to learn to pace yourself. On Monday and Tuesday it was a bit sort of aggressive and there were a few battles. So we started bringing an extra person to sleep at night and then a third person, just so that there was a bit more sort of solidity. And partly because it felt like they were driving us, or attempting to drive us off the pavement. Things have calmed down now, but actually it's quite good to have a couple of people staying overnight. Partly just as we can have, we're here all night, so we get people coming up very late into the night now. I still think they're outraged about what's going on, and the ambassador was giving a press briefing today, complaining about how we were barricading the embassy and violating the VN Convention on Consular Affairs. But yeah, you're right, the police have been very good, and they've had to be, because obviously they've had to stand off, and on the one hand we've got a right to protest, on the other hand they don't want a diplomatic incident. I mean, I might want one, but they don't. And they've done it with great humour, it's been a delicate tightrope to walk.
But you've had lots of MPs visiting, we've had MPs visit in the last few minutes. What have you been saying to them? What have they been saying to you?
Well, so the simple thing is, please can you take a picture, can you sign our book, can you invite your constituents to come in and sign our visitors book, and that visitors book is obviously becoming increasingly important. It's sort of all these messages of care that people have put down that one day Nazanin will get to read. So partly it's the fact that they've come down as someone important with a voice to each others, but also a presence that the Iranian authorities behind me can see. Some of them asked about what we can do more long term, and there are different things, probably not for doing in the middle of a hunger strike, because it needs a bit more creative thinking. But I think Nazanin's story highlights a number of things. It highlights how Iran uses sort of foreign citizens as well as hostages, effectively. It also highlights the fact that the UK struggles to protect its citizens properly, and part of that will be legal as much as anything else. So there are things that Parliament can do for a calmer day we'll take up.
What would you say to Boris Johnson if he was to be one of the next MPs to come down?
Well, we've called for him to come, and that would be great, and obviously I've said some fairly tough things about him just recently, so there'll be a frank conversation to have. But ultimately, why was I cross with Boris Johnson yesterday? It was because I didn't feel he was taking responsibility for his mistake, but also taking responsibility for Nazanin and having her as high a priority as he should have done. So if he comes down, of course he is showing that priority. There might still be issues around responsibility, but it's a good first step.
Yesterday you said he was a threat to the country if elected. Do you stand by that?
I think that might have been slightly overstated. I didn't. I knew I'd come off Sky having given a fairly ranting interview, but I didn't mean it to be quite that tough. Look, I will say this. I think it's important. If someone can't take responsibility for their mistakes, they will struggle to take responsibility for the country. I think that's the plain fact. Threat to the country is a stronger statement than I would have made if I was calmer.
But what would you say to Conservative Party members who are going to have a say on the next leader of the country?
Yeah, so obviously you're right, it's not for me to decide either. Conservative Party members will soon have a vote, and they'll have a vote with their conscience. And I think it's for them to decide who they think will best protect the citizens of this country. So my job is to keep going as long as Nazanin can, and she'll decide when this ends, and then I will stop then. In terms of how long that is, I don't know really. I have to say it's getting harder each day, and hopefully it's days rather than weeks. But I'll keep going.
We've obviously talked about Boris. Is there anyone else who would like to come down?
Look, I think any of the remaining candidates would be very welcome. Any other MP we will welcome. Anyone else who has profile and presence would be welcome. And from the great and the good to the ordinary neighbours, everyone's been welcome.